welcome. Gallery. I want to be able to see you all. All right. So welcome. Congratulations for signing up. Congratulations for showing up. You know, it is something to be said when you actually follow through on something that you put into motion. How many of you signed up for things in the past and then never showed up? Yes. So be proud that you have showed up. Be proud that you're here. There's something really powerful in follow through. It's like some intuitive little message had you say yes to this, and then you're continuing to follow your intuitive message. So excited. And that actually puts you on path of building self-trust. And when you build self-trust, it's easier to manifest. So drop below if this is your first time. Drop in the comments for me if this is your first time with me, or if you've been with me in other settings. If you have, I'd love to know what those others, if you've been to my summits or maybe my master classes, or is this your first go through with me? So welcoming you all into our 4-day mini course called Unlock Your Manifestation Magic. I love the topic of manifesting. You know why? Because I was a believer since I was a little girl. I always believed great things were possible. I just didn't know how to achieve the great things. So this journey that I've been on creating a life that I truly, truly love, that I'm passionate about, that I live in joy and happiness, was a wish, a hope, and a dream at one point in my life. So I am excited to be here sharing with you on these 4 days on manifesting. So I encourage you, if you're not on camera, I encourage you to come on camera. If it's really outside of your comfort zone, guess what happens when you step outside of your comfort zone? Growth happens. So I encourage you to come join us. I am recording, but the only person that the recording will see is me. So you don't have to worry about that. It's set up so it only records myself. And so join us on camera, join us, participate, be here. You're eating dinner, that's okay. So today is all about unlocking your manifestation magic. See, your magic already exists within you, and we get to unlock it today. We get to tap into, not just today, these next 4 days. It's a kind of a build up by day 3 and day 4, right? So what do I mean about unlocking your manifestation magic? Well, you already manifest. You already manifest. Your subconscious beliefs run your show and manifest all the time. The magic happens when you get in tuned and understand what's going on in the subconscious. So that's the magic that we are going to create today. So that being said, let's get started. I'm your host and your coach. I see somebody came to the summit, so that's pretty cool. I'm glad you enjoyed the summit. I think it was Tina. So I'm your coach and your host, Brenda BKISS, and I've created this series because I searched high and low for something that was going to help me. I literally turned to churches, to friends, to people, to books, to you name it, I did it. And I was trying to find my way in life. Anybody relate where you're constantly looking and looking and looking and for that missing piece, for that, what's that one thing that's holding you back? And I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. So I decided to create, I did a lot of healing on myself, and then I created this program because I wanted to be able to support women that are looking for change in their life and developing a resource for you. So, you know, I had struggled with weight. My weight went up and down my whole life. I struggled with beating myself up, of not feeling comfortable in my body, abusing food, abusing exercise. And I really felt lost in my body, confused, because I knew I should be grateful and appreciate my life, but I wasn't. There was something missing. There was something missing within myself that had that divine connection, that magic. I'll say magical. connection, whether you want to call it magic, a divine connection, God connection, higher self connection. It's like I always believed that it was there, but I just didn't know how to actually connect with it. Anybody relate? Like you believe in a higher power, but you don't necessarily feel the guidance or get the intuitive nudges and like, how do I actually follow my intuition and be a part of it, like be a part of that connection. So so I created this because I know what it was like to feel lost. I know what it was like to feel like my life wasn't, like I wasn't worthy to have a life of passion, of excitement, of love, of joy. And I can tell you this, it wasn't until I made a decision to invest in me that things changed around in my life. I mean, it wasn't until I had said yes to myself, that things started to change. See, when you make a decision to take care of you, and you make a decision that's uncomfortable, that's out of your comfort zone to take care of you, I call that the catalyst of change. When you have the courage to step outside of what I call your box thinking, right? We all have a box. Look, we're literally in a box right here on Zoom, right? We're all literally in a box. We each have our own little box, as a matter of fact, right? And we have these limited thinking. We have these thoughts that keep us in our small little world, right? We look at other people and we think like, wow, how did they create that? I remember looking at successful entrepreneurs, millionaires. I was in a network marketing company a long time ago. And I remember looking at them, like, what's different? Like, how did they make it and not me? Because they expanded their box, right? And when you have the courage to make a decision that's outside of your box, that's where the magic happens. That's where I call it the courage is the catalyst of change. That's where your dreams become reality. So if showing up here tonight is outside of your box, you're on your path, right? If putting your camera on is showing up outside of your box, then you get to put, realize that you are in that energy of change, in that energy of making things happen and shifting things around for yourself. So, and when you take this time for yourself, I want to be quite clear in the beginning, because most women that I work with are people pleasers. They do. I need a third screen. I want to be able to see you guys and my notes. It's not working out so well. Most people that I work with are people pleasers. They do for everybody else. They put themselves on the bottom of the priority list. And so making a decision to put this time aside for yourself right now is really powerful. You get to recognize that for yourself. Recognize that that is a powerful decision. And you get to leave the guilt and the should have and the would haves and the could haves and whatever other things out. Making a decision to take care of you puts you on a path to not only live your dreams, but help others realize that they get to live their dreams too. So I'm going to ask you today and for the next 4 days to play full out. I promise you, I've done classes very similar to this for years now. And I have people that show up at these classes that create monumental shifts in their lives. And I can tell you what causes that. It's the people that play full out, that they leave judgment at the door, that go all in, that do the exercises, that show up present. And so I invite you to do that so that you can find the missing piece to help you move forward, to live peacefully, calmly, and also to really create your life from that space. What I see so much, what I see so common in the manifestation world is creating out of anxiety, creating out of stress, creating out of fear. Like, oh my God, I got to make money. Let me go do that. Oh my God, I got to have more time. Let me try to figure out how to do my time. Oh my God, I'm so lonely. I don't have anybody in my life. I got to create that. And you create from a space of lack, of scarcity, of doubt, of fear. And so anytime you create from that space, guess what happens? Drop in the chat if you think you know what happens. What happens if you create from space, if you create from doubt, if you create from scarcity, of nervousness, of anxiousness, or overwhelmed? Here's my chat. Here it is. Nothing happens the way you want. It's a shit show. Yeah, you create more of that energy that you were in. You create more of that energy of being anxious, being overwhelmed, being frustrated. So whenever you create something, you want to put yourself in the energy of what it is that you want to create and make decisions from that. So that all sounds good, right? I used to love when people said that. Live in your future self now. Live in that version of you that you want to be. Yeah. How do you do that when you're carrying so much shit? I couldn't. Anybody else? I could not. Like, I had to heal and let go of the baggage that was holding me back so that I could actually see that there is that potentiality, see that that future does exist. Right. And so that's what we are here this week, is to really unlock the things that are holding your heart blocked, that are holding you back from being truly you. And when you are in your authenticity, when you're in your self-expression, that's where the magic happens. That's where manifest happens, from a space of freedom, of the space of enjoyment. But you just can't, in my experience, you just can't say, be in your future self and live in that energy, right? You just, how? When you have so much crap stuck on your heart. And not just, I want to say this, we are, and I probably will repeat this 1,000 times this week, is because we are multi-dimensional human beings. So we can't just change our thoughts. We actually have to unlock the energy from our body. You take an experience and you embody it. Someone says something to you, you feel it, you take it in, whether it's positive or negative. So if we have positive experiences, or if we have all these emotions and experiences that are in our body that we don't know. I mean, how many of you have had childhood trauma? I was molested as a child. I was date raped twice. I was played with from the boys in the neighborhood, so all of that stuff gets, well, most people bury it, right? You bury it down so you don't feel it. You don't have to deal with it. But guess what? That energy still lives inside of you. So to create good in your life, to manifest beautiful things in your life, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So you get to release that bondage. You get to release that energy that's tied up in the negative, low frequency emotions before you can step into that future self. And we will, by Thursday, be stepping into the future version of yourself, but we're going to release some emotions so that you can have an experience. You can tap into it. Now, when you have lifelong transformation from this work, it's a practice. This is a practice that you get to live in. So play full out. Do not be a bystander. Be a participant this week. Be actively involved. Do you know why? Most people think it's for me. So I can see what you guys are thinking and feeling. Although that helps me, I can then cater to you guys, but it's not for me. You know who it's for? Yourself. Yourself and your commitment. The universe sees that. If you show up half-ass here, guess what you're going to get? Half-ass results. If you show up here playing full out, giving it your all, letting any doubt push you aside, letting any oh, I've done that. I know chakras. I know manifesting. I've done all that work before. And you don't let yourself fully engage. Guess what? You're not going to be where you want to be. And I'm pretty sure you signed up here to be here and committed to coming to 4 days of training because you want something different in your life. Are we in agreement? Drop yes if we're in agreement. Participating also means chatting with me. Let me know you're listening. Let me know you're here. Yes. If you don't know how to chat, just raise your hand when I say yes, and then I can see you. some people don't know how to use the chat, and I get that. So don't be a bystander. You know, what happens is I had a woman come to me who was, I'll say, she stopped being a bystander. She wanted to be a participant. She wanted to change her life. Her name is Donna. And, you know, doing this work doing this work with us, she realized that she gets to access her inner wisdom, her own knowledge to make her own decisions and beliefs. She stopped looking for outside validation so that she was actually able to develop and trust her intuition. Shannon came to me because she felt like there was a missing piece, and she said doing this work helped her realize the biggest shift in her life was the way that she was treating herself. Her, you know, beating herself up to recognizing her self-confidence, her self-worth, and being able to, I see her now, she's like getting her like master's degree in social work, and has really done wonderful work in the drug and alcohol community. And, you know, living in a place of wholeness, you know, without judgment. And then we have Kathy, who came to me. She came to me from, I think, having surgery. She was a while ago. And she said after 6 months, she learned to go, as she used these tools, you know, she learned from doing these little exercises that we're going to talk about. She came out of a deep depression and went from despair to hope to wisdom to fully engaged in life again. So as we go through everything today, give yourself permission to go with it, to trust it, to be open to it, even if you don't fully understand it. You're here being supported by myself, my team. We have Irish, as well as Sherry. I believe I saw Sherry pop in. Here to help you, to grow with you. Come to the Facebook community if you hadn't. We do a lot of things throughout the day to I want to say, deepen the work that we're doing here. It's called kissyourstrugglesgoodbye.com. So if you go to not right now, you can do it after class, but kissyourstrugglesgoodbye.com. You want to go there. We'll be putting up prize posts and stuff like that for you to win some prizes, so that you want to come on over and engage and be participate there. I'm going to ask you to do some things. It's going to be uncomfortable, but what happens on the other side of your comfort, on the other side of the box? What happens? Growth, expansion. That's where the magic happens. So you get to be a part of that. You get to be a part of that. So something that we offered, if you haven't done this already, something that we offer to the participants is what we call a clarity call. This is a 15-minute call with Sherry, just to give you some guidance on what you're looking for to manifest, or what you feel is holding you back. I know that Sherry has talked to a few people. If you've talked to Sherry and you're here tonight, just share your experience with the rest of the women here about what the experience was like. You know, so this clarity call is nothing but to support you. There is limited spots. That has to happen by Wednesday. If you're booking outside of Wednesday, unless you're already booked with Sherry, if you're booking outside of Wednesday, we will not take the call. It gets to happen during the challenge, the mini course, so we can support you through here. All right. So and if you do book, keep it, because Sherry has limited times and other people will be wanting to book. So if you do book, I highly suggest it. It's a free opportunity to get some resources. So we're going to be making offers for prizes. We're going to be making offers for calls. We're going to be making an offer to enroll in my program down the road, so that, you know, to work deeper with us, to continue what you're doing. So as we go through this week, I really encourage you to pay attention. Here is the process of growth. You're at a low place, or just maybe a flat line, right? You're at a flat line. Then you get curious, right? And then your curiosity brings you to a new book, a class, a series, a mini course, right? And you start to do it. And then what happens is you start to come outside of your box, and you start to think like, oh, life can be better. Life does have possibilities. And you start thinking outside. But guess who doesn't like that? The ego, your ego says, wait a second, I don't know what's outside that box. So let's find a way to bring you back into the box. So all of a sudden, this time won't be available anymore. All of a sudden, maybe you'll get sick and you won't show up. You'll find an excuse not to be here. This is what's called resistance. This is your ego saying, come on back to your little thinking box here, right? So just be aware of that. And then you get to honor that. You get to say thank you for recognizing the thank you part of me that recognize that this is uncomfortable, that I don't want to do this. And I'm not going to entertain these thoughts. I'm going to show up. I'm going to follow through. I'm going to keep my commitment because I remember why. Everybody right now, drop down. Why did you sign up for this? Why did you sign up for this? I'm going to take a sip of water while you're all writing. Yeah, done existing. Your gut told you to do. Yes. For me, I need positive energy to move forward, to pull myself out of the rabbit hole, to clear my blocks around manifesting, starting a new business, want to create a successful business. I'm barely just existing. Yes. So when I want you to write this down on a piece of paper and put it somewhere where you will see it. Because what happens is we're human. Yes. I mean, we are spiritual beings, but we're living in a human body. And what happens is we want to be in our comfort zone. Human beings will prefer to be comfortable than uncomfortable, right? Who would like to sit in a cold room versus a neutral, like room temperature room? You don't want to go sit in the cold room and be uncomfortable. Well, not if it's to make it colder than what you like. Right? So, and the reason is we're human. We want to go back to our comfort zone. So your why gets to carry you through the week. In fact, it gets to carry you through till you manifest what you want. And if it's not doing the job, you get to dig deeper for a bigger why. And I can just take you through, this was not part of today, but what I'll do is I'll take you just through a couple questions you could ask yourself is like, why is it important to start a business? Why is it important to live? What makes living important? What marching in the parade? Yeah, so what does marching in the parade, what makes that important to you? Because without the energy behind your why, the why has no power, right? Everything comes down to the energy in which we do something. Remember I said you want to manifest from a place of what you want? So you get to look at your why. And every time resistance shows up, every time the ego wants to put you back in your box, you get to say, nope, I know I get to step out because of my why. Right? Drop down if you wrote down your why. Just write the word why, the letter Y, or you can type it out. And if you're not participating, ask yourself, what's stopping you from participating? What's holding you back? Awesome. Awesome. You guys are rocking it. I love it. I love it. So, yes. Okay. So, this course, this mini course is to help you build your confidence, develop a self-love relationship. Everything in your world begins with your relationship with yourself, to better your other relationships, communications, to create abundance of money, of love, of healing, whatever your manifestation is. So You can expect to receive tools, healings, and things that are going to help you create your dreams. I bet the challenge, though, with a lot of you is that you don't know what your dreams are, right? You may think you know what you want, but I bet they're just surface level dreams. It's dreams that you think are maybe a little bit possible, but have you ever dreamed of having a jet? Ever dream of having 2 houses? Ever dream of something bigger than what you have now? And the fastest way to manifesting and creating this life that you truly love is to reconnect with yourself, heal, to grow. So let's start off here. Let's start off here. Is what is it that you want to feel? Just take a minute and just ask yourself, what is it that you want to feel? What is it that you want to feel? Serenity. Now ask yourself, if you had that feeling, what would you have in your life? Love, happiness, connection, contentment. Beautiful. Peace, love. And think about this. Think about if there's something that you feel you need in your life. Like, I used to think I needed, a pair of shoes to go with every outfit. And if I had a pair of shoes to go with every outfit, I would feel complete. Right? I love that Belinda thinks I'm hilarious. And so, I got you. I was a princess. Where's my crown? It's, oh, here it is. My mom used to call me a princess, so this is my clear quartz crown. So, if you look at something that you want, if you don't know how you want to feel, because some people get stuck in, I don't know, because they haven't allowed themselves to feel anything but miserable, right? So if you're stuck in that space, what is it that you want in your life? Like, is it a new car? Is it a new house? Is it a loving relationship? And then you ask yourself, well, what would that give you? Because then that will give you an indication of what you want. All right. And so whatever it is, that feeling, I want you to declare now that this is what we were going to call your magic feeling. So whatever that feeling is, whether it's relaxed, whether it's contentment, whether it's excitement, love, joy, passion, peace, whatever yours was, healthier body, what would the feeling of having a healthier body be? And I know you wrote down peace as well somewhere. So declare now, this is my magic feeling. Just pick one for the week. Just one magic feeling. And this is the magic feeling that you get to create from. This is the magic feeling that we get to tap into this week, right? I want to say this, you couldn't desire that magic feeling if somewhere it didn't already exist within you. You can only think of thoughts, you can only feel feelings, you can only see things that already exist within you. Otherwise, you wouldn't know that they exist, right? So that magic feeling does exist within you. It does exist somewhere, it's under layers of thoughts, under layers of emotions, under layers of beliefs. But just the act of declaring it, you tapped into a part of you, I'll call it your soul, the God within, source. I also call it the subconscious mind. Some people call it God. Doesn't matter what you call it, the light, the Buddha, the energy that's within you, whatever you call it. That's the part of you that wants to come out and play. That's the part of you that's calling you forward to take this course. That's the part of you that's calling you forward to get out of your own way. And so my experience is that I've worked with many women to help, that I've worked with to create this magic feeling. They have tried things such as therapy, counseling, religion. Oh my gosh, I grew up Catholic, and I must have went to, I can't tell you how many different churches and religious places to try to find peace within. Self-help books. I've spent hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars on books. How many of you, how many books do you have? How much money do you think? Drop in the chat. I want to see this. Drop in the chat on how much money you think you've spent on self-help books. Thousands. 3,000. And let me ask you, how much have you don't know? You do know, Catherine. You just don't want to allow your brain to make that a connection. I invite you to, though, because the more that you make that connection, the more that you are in less resistance. Not a lot. $50,000 between workshops and memberships. Belinda, I hear you. I've spent a lot more. I've doubled that. But yes, so there is value in investing yourself, 100%. Here's what I want to say about self-help books. In my experience, and with many of the women that I buy, they buy the book, they're excited, they read about the first 2 or 3 chapters, and then the book goes on the shelf. And you're like, God darn it. Oh, what's the next book? This one's going to help me. Right? Or you read through the whole book, but there's no guide, no one's sharing with you, no one holding you accountable, and you think the book and the stuff in the book doesn't work. I can tell you that every single book you read probably would change your life if you actually read it and put it into practice and had a community supporting you. The problem is that's not the case, right? You could join a book club, but what I found out is most people that come together, if they're not, one of the things I used to do when I was unhealthy or trying to find my path was I would turn to friends, and guess what friends would do? They would commiserate with me, right? And then give me all the advice of what I should do. And most of them told me to go buy a book, right? So it's just an endless cycle. So books, it's interesting, right? It's an interesting pattern, because who here loves to learn? I love to learn. I absolutely love to learn. And that's why you keep buying the books. But I will tell you this, you don't need to learn one more thing to change your life. You can change your life by implementing. Transformation happens when you take knowledge plus action. Knowledge alone will not transform your life. It will just give you a lot of piled on deep, a lot of information piled on, right? So you want to look at, people that I've worked with have done yoga and meditation and medication and exercise and diets. But what happened is the results that I have witnessed don't last, because they don't create these methods that I just talked about are missing 1 or 2 of the 3 pillars of transformation. What I found is that there are 3 common problems when we're looking to manifest your dreams and living in your magic feeling. You may not know what I'm about to share with you today, or you may have an idea, and that's okay. You get to be open and acknowledge, or just look at what's different, right? But today, after I share this information with you, I want you to realize that you now have the knowledge to make a change in your life. So you are choosing whether you do or don't make the change. We get to choose everything in our life. And I say this with love and compassion. I I have compassion if you're having a really hard time in your life, but you still get to choose how you show up. You still get to choose your thoughts. You still get to choose the energy you live in. There's a book called, what's it called? What is it called? Um, As a Man Thinketh, I believe it's what it's called. And it was a book on the someone that survived, a doctor that survived the Holocaust. Anybody read this book? It's a really powerful book. This doctor was separated from his wife, went into the camps, right? And didn't know whether his wife was alive or dead. And what he decided to do, even though he was living literally in their own fecal matter in the camps with no food, barely enough, just like horrible conditions, right? We know what the Holocaust was. He chose to stay in hope. He chose to see the positive in his day. He chose to see the good, even in the challenging moments. And do you know he survived to write a book about it? He actually created his peace within a horrible condition, because our outside circumstances does not dictate how we choose to live, how you choose to live. So when you take this information in, realize if you choose to do nothing, that's a choice. If you choose to continue to be a bystander, realize you're choosing to stay in your box. Boy, I'm laying it hard on you guys this start of the day. Whew. What I see happens often, and I'm going to tell you what the 3 pillars of transformation for manifestation is. Just, I want to share what most women do is they look to fix the problem that isn't the problem. Meaning, people think if I work on my weight, I'll be happier. If I had more time, I'll be happier. If I had better relationship or got out of a relationship, I'll be happier. If I do this, whatever this is, I'll be happier. The truth is, when you focus on these areas of your life, these are all things outside of you. If I had more money, I would be happier, right? If you focus on these areas of your life, you're focusing on the symptom of the underlying problem. Therefore, what happens is, anybody here, I yo-yo diet my whole life. I developed an eating disorder from being abused. I was an emotional eater, and then I became an exercise bulimic, meaning I didn't purge out my mouth. I literally worked out 4 to 5 hours a day to work off all the food that I ate. And if I ate more, I'd go work out again. And so I always thought, like, God, if I just was skinny enough, I would be happy. But the truth is, it had nothing to do with my weight. My weight was my subconscious, my ego was keeping it about weight. But when I dug in, it was beliefs that I had that it was unsafe. I was unsafe if I was skinny. I was unsafe if I was pretty. I associated being skinny with pretty because my uncle told me I was the chosen sister, because I was the pretty sister. I was the skinnier sister. So therefore I had really big problems around being skinny, right? So, you want to focus on the problem, because if you don't, you can lose the weight. I've lost weight many times, but I never thought I was skinny enough, pretty enough. Or 6 months later, guess what happened? I would gain all the weight back. And maybe it's not weight that's your challenge. Maybe it's relationships. You leave one relationship to develop another poor relationship, and you just keep getting in the same relationship with a different person, right? It's the same type of relationship, but it's a different human being on the other end. Maybe it's money. You bring money in and then it's gone. And then you're like, where did it all go? And then you bring it all in. You just change one addiction to another. Maybe you stop being an alcoholic and then you start eating disorder or whatever. The truth is, what I've seen is, if you do not work on the root problem, then you will continue to look for answers outside of yourself. And it could be as simple as this. My son, a while back, I took him to the doctors because he was having some bowel issues. And the doctor said, well, just treat him for constipation. I think he was 7 years old at the time. And to be honest, we eat a really healthy diet. Like we take a really good supplements. And he's like, just treat them for constipation. Like give them stuff for constipation, right? And I thought to myself, that's what most people do. They treat the symptom. The symptom is constipation. That's not the problem. So why is my 7-year-old son constipated? What's causing that? What are the emotions that are causing that? What are the physicalities that are causing that? I don't just want him to be out of that. So that's the journey of healing. It's not fixing the symptom. It's really looking at the problem. And the other thing I see is that people think they have to do this journey alone. Do you know that it is encoded in women's DNA to work together? And if you think that I am lying about that, it means you are super duper in your masculine energy. Think about back in the day when we lived in villages. It takes a village to raise a child, right? Every single woman worked together. And what did women do? We want to be men. So we want to have the right, we want to just be just like men, have the freedoms of men and all of that. And we became very masculine. And so then we decided that we have to lone wolf it, do things our own, do it our own. We can't show vulnerability. And I can say you can do healing on your own and you can do all of that. That's just the slowest, longest path to get there, because having a guide, having someone in the processes with you will see things different. Anybody have a friend? And you could, I'm sure you all have friends, a friend who you just know that you can see their problem, you can see their challenge, but the friend can't see the problem. Like think of a friend that has a relationship and you're like, oh my gosh, like you need to leave this guy because this, and this, but the friend's like, no, he does this, right? He does that. They don't see the problem. So having a coach or guide in there looking at you, at the stuff you're working on, amplifies, enhances it. So if you're doing the journey on your own, you get to look at, do you want to take the longest path or do you want to get to your manifestations faster? And the third thing I see happen a lot is people get stuck in, I call spiritual search. Like they get stuck in meditation, they get stuck in praying or in churches. And listen, I am a very spiritual person. I'm not into any particular religion. I believe in it. That's actually what I teach, is how do you connect divinely to your spiritual person, your spiritual guides, your whatever that is to you. But what most people do is they get stuck in I'll say learning, like instead of taking the inspired action that comes through your spiritual guidance. They don't work on the other pieces of you. You work on, your spiritual connection. I believe in this, but what are your mindsets? What are your beliefs? What's your energy that's holding you back? So the 3 pillars of transformation is, one is reprogramming your energy, your emotions, your chakras, and your subconscious mind. You can't just reprogram your mind because the body is part of you. You can't just reprogram the body because the mind is part of you. You also are an energetic being, so we need to work on your energy and your chakras, which if you don't know what chakras are, don't worry, I'm going to talk about that tonight. And so that's the first pillar. The second pillar of transformation is to develop a deep sense of connection with your higher self, with the universe, with God, with light, infinite intelligence, whatever you mean. And I don't mean deepen your connection with a religious organization. I'm talking about your personal connection to your higher being, whatever that is, right? Not saying church isn't great, and not saying that, yeah, you can build connections with community, but the pillar of transformation is when you have a direct connection. It's an open conversation, right? You pray, you get answers, you get insight, you get your intuitive messages. That's the development that I'm speaking into. And the third is, and I already kind of talked about this, is being part of a community. being part of a tribe, being part of a sisterhood that lights you up, that brings you to support, that makes you feel that you can express yourself and be accountable and share your emotions, that makes you feel safe. Without that, you're lone wolfing it, right? This is exactly why I developed my process that I use in my program. My program is called Fear to Freedom, but this is why I developed Transformative Neuro-Reiki. See, I tried everything. You name it, I've done it. Diets, exercise, counseling, hypnotherapy, books. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to fix me. Shopping, I did, I loved shopping. I never did drugs, but alcohol was definitely part of my ritual to try to find that missing piece. Pleasing others. Any people pleasers here? Like keeping yourself so busy so you don't have to deal with your own problems? Think about that. I've always loved helping people, but I actually kept myself so busy so I didn't have to feel my own feelings. I could feel everybody else's feelings, so I didn't have to worry about mine. There's no way you are going to manifest and create great things in your life if you don't start feeling your feelings, if you don't start connecting with you. It's actually the key to manifestation. So I put this together to support you, to create a difference, because Transformative Neuro-Reiki really helps you to understand energetic healings, understand spirituality, to deepen your connection to yourself, to others, to God, the universe, light, love, to understand your emotions and embodiment. See, we embody all of our experiences, or we numb us out and don't take anything in, and we're like a brick wall. Right? And then we also work on reprogramming the subconscious mind and the chakra system, all by being part of an amazing, supportive sisterhood of women. So for those that are just joining, my name's Brenda BKISS. I've helped thousands of women reduce anxiety, overwhelm, self-doubt to create a life of happiness, of joy, of confidence by reconnecting yourself to yourself so that you can manifest the great things that you want in your life. I do this through a step-by-step process to clear out the old, to create the new, and bring forth insights to see what it is that you truly do want. If all the garbage was off of you, what is it that you truly do want? So tonight we're going to start about, right now we're going to go into what is the first part about really manifesting. And I already said it a couple times. It's the power of tuning into me, myself, and I, you, yourself, and you, right? It's about becoming present and being in the moment. What happens when you stay outside of yourself? Meaning you're not present, you're not tuned into your feelings, your emotions. I can be so present in my body that I can tell is someone, and I can't hear it, but I can feel their energy come into my house, right? If I'm present, if I'm running around doing 3,000 things, then no, I can't feel that, right? So when you're present or not present and you're living disconnected from your true essence, your soul, your heart. So what do I mean by that? I mean, you live in the world of shoulds. Anybody should in themselves? I should be doing this. I should be doing that. I should be helping here. I should be going to bed. I lived in the world of shoulds. I shoulded all over myself all the time. It was brutal. I got so stuck in my head and outside of my body, so much in my head that I literally shoulded myself so much that my kids would wake up. They would come down the hallway and I would say, should I say hello or should I say hi to my children? That's a true story. That's how much I was in my head. Obviously, hello or hi doesn't even freaking matter. But when you are so disconnected from yourself, you start to question everything, doubt everything. You live in a story of victim. Everything is happening to you. You live in a world of hurt, of distrust, of judgment, afraid to take action, afraid to do the things you want to do. You live yourself for you live a life for everybody else. Resentment builds up because your heart is a two-way street. It's a give and receive. And if you are not receiving and you are constantly giving, you build up resentment. It doesn't even matter if it is something you love to do. Anger starts to come in, stress, anxiety, overwhelmed. Anybody relating to this? So I had a client, my first client, and she was a stay-at-home mom, and her days is what she wanted. She wanted nothing other than to be a stay-at-home mom. If you would have asked her when she was a college student, she'd be like, yeah, I could be this, and this, but I really just want to be a mom. I mean, high school, not college, or even as a little girl, she would say that, I just want to be a mom. And so she grew up and she manifested that. She was a stay-at-home mom. She showed up for her kids, played with them, fed them, slept with, like, co-slept, did everything for her kids. And within a few years, because the first few years were really excited, and guess what happened? She started to resent them. The loves of her life, the things that she wanted most. And she began to forget who she was. She forgot to forget what she wanted, what she liked, her desires. And it wasn't until she dug in deep, really tuned in to herself and did some healing, was she able to really appreciate the life that she had. Because no matter where you are in your life, it all starts with loving and accepting your life where you are right now. So maybe it's not kids you throw your life into. Maybe it's work. Give your life to work. Maybe it's a relationship, a spouse or a partner. Maybe it's an illness. You just give everything to your illness. Maybe it's a family member, like an elderly family member or a different family member. And the reason that people do this, and if you're one of them, like I was, is because we're trying to fulfill the number one human need that we have, which is loving connection. There is nothing as a human being that we want more than to feel loved or connected. So we will do whatever it takes to feel that way. And you do more for others than you do for yourself, so that you hope that you will start to feel something from them. And it's not that they're not giving it to you. You just put blocks up. You just put walls up that if you're not receiving. Drop an R if you can relate to what I'm saying. Just curious. So we're going to tune in so that you can begin to feel what it feels like to desire something, to want something. How many of you feel guilty for wanting something? Oh my God, I would love to have that. And then you're like, I don't really need that. I don't really, and then you start talking yourself out of it. Anybody else? I used to do that all the time. I used to say, oh, I want this new car. And then I'm like, do I really need this new car? Is it really worth the money? And I would talk myself out of it, right? That comes down to not being worthy enough, not feeling your own love. So you get to tune into you. And this is the biggest key to manifesting. The biggest key to manifesting is knowing you. You are the key. And in order to know you, you have to tune in. And I know if you've blocked yourself with, I'll just say problems, because we all have problems. If you block yourself with problems from tuning in, this could feel scary. It could feel overwhelming, maybe even impossible for some that have blocked their feelings for so long. That was me. I remember when somebody said to start to tune in. I told you I had an eating disorder. I was so disconnected. I lived in frustration, overwhelmed, and stress almost every day of my life, even though I had no reason to. I had a beautiful life. I lived there. And I started working with the coach, and she said, just eat when you're hungry. I was like, this is hilarious. I eat when I'm lonely. I eat when I'm tired. I eat when I'm frustrated. I eat when I'm with somebody. I eat to celebrate. I eat when I'm bored. I eat when I'm sleepy. She's like, just eat when you're hungry. Well, I literally asked her, how do you know when you're hungry? I had to, in the beginning, eat a meal and set a timer for 2.5 hours and not eat in between. Because if you are disconnected and not tuned in, how are you going to be in the frequency and the vibration of what you want? So, in order to really begin to manifest, you get to release old frequency feelings, such as overwhelm, guilt, frustration, annoyed, angry, and uncover your hidden stories, your buried feelings, process your emotions. And in order to do that, you get to tune in. So let's talk some ways to tune in. So to begin to tune into yourself, I'm going to give you 5 ways, and we're going to dive into one way. So the first way is very simple, is use your breath. Literally use your breath. So placing your hands on your heart. I'm going to just go through it briefly. Take a nice deep breath in and out. You can close your eyes. Another deep breath in and out. One more deep breath in, the slowest breath in that you've ever taken. And the slowest exhale. And I'll just find your own natural rhythm of breathing. And just ask yourself, what do I feel or notice about me right now? And then open your eyes, drop it in the chat. And then just ask yourself, is that in alignment? My feet hurt. You felt calm, tense. Yeah. So is that in alignment with what you want? Your magic feeling? And so if you aren't tuned in to you, how are you going to tune into the frequency of the future self? Right? So this is one way. So scared, relax. That's beautiful. And so you want to look at acknowledging that. And then tomorrow we are actually I'm going to teach you a technique on how to release emotions. Okay. So today is just about awareness. The other tool is the other 3 things we're not going to do. I'm just going to talk about. But tuning in, heart-centered breathing is so powerful. It's one of the tools I use all day long just to keep me grounded and in the moment. And so the other tools to tune in is stillness and quiet, like literally sitting, no distractions, no noise. I remember talking to one of my clients. She drove with the music on, worked all day, drove home with the music on, came home, put the TV on, went to bed with the TV on, absolutely zero quiet. So finding a place to sit quietly, and you can start with just a few minutes at a time. But that's going to allow you to start to feel you. It's going to allow you to start to notice things about you. Grounding, being outside in nature, putting your feet on the floor, taking a few moments to just be present. That's what grounding is. Meditation is another great way to begin to tune in. And there's different types of meditation. There's guided meditation, quiet meditation, walking meditations, music. You can just have music on. There's affirmative meditations where you can listen to affirmations, many different types of meditations, right? But the number one tool that I teach all of that within the chakra system, is really learning the chakras. And I want you to know, I'm going to give you an overview of what the chakras is. And I had no idea what chakras were, but once I learned it, it was a game changer. So stay open, even if you do. Drop down chakras if you have a baseline. And just drop down no if you have no idea what chakras are, just so I know who we're speaking with. Love it. Love it. So in order to manifest what you want, you get to learn and discover you and the frequency and what frequency you're in, if you're in alignment or out of alignment. And one of the best ways to do that is through your chakra system. Now, chakras work, there's plenty of different tools out there. You can Google chakras, you can go on YouTube and find chants to balance the chakras. You can go on and find exercises to balance the chakras. But the work that we do in Fear to Freedom and what we're going to do here is that we're not just going to look at the energetics of the chakras, but we're going to look at the emotional processes of the chakras, the feelings of the chakras, the beliefs in the chakras, so that you can truly understand yourself and what lies in your subconscious body and mindset in each chakra, to determine what you're attracting. So your energy, your subconscious mind is what attracts 95% of the things in your life. And what's in the subconscious, you're unaware of. So it's like getting tuned into what's in the subconscious so that you can start to attract what you want in your life. So we're going to start with the basics today. There's 7 main chakras, and these chakras work like energy vortexes, meaning that they vibrate at a frequency. And when you know what frequency they're vibrating at, if they're blocked, cleared, or open, you can tell because you're living free, excited, peacefully, calm, energetically, lively, inspired, healthy, strong, like just wonderful things are happening. But each chakra has a different role. And you can put blockages in your chakras. So chakras are these energy vortexes that are connected to your spine, I'll just say your spine. They're energetically connected. And when they're vibrating, and I just picture them for like literally creating these vortexes of energy around you. That's what I picture them as. And when they're open, things are going great. But negative thinking, associating with negative people, surrounding yourself with negativity, trauma, current trauma, childhood trauma. I fell and broke my jaw a few years ago. That put blockages in my chakra. It could be something that you do, moving, uprooting to a new house, a new job, a new position, actually puts blockages in your chakras because there's a whole system that you're revamping. So when you have these blockages, you start to feel disconnected. You can be unhealthy. You can feel blocked. You can feel lonely. You can feel tired. Each one has a different experience. So before I go into what one feels what, I want to do a simple process with you because I really want you to begin to tune into yourself. And so we're going to do a simple process of you gaining some insight around you. So, and for some of you, you may not feel anything, and that's okay. I didn't when I first started this. And for some of you, you will feel something, and that's fantastic. So just notice, and when I go through this process, notice the thoughts and the feelings and the experience that's coming up for you, okay? All right, so wherever you are, you want to close your eyes. So if you're sitting or, just be safe when you're closing your eyes. So close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in and out. Another cleansing breath in and out. One more deep breath together and out. With your eyes closed, just take your hands, place them together, palm to palm, open hand, palm to palm, and just rub them up and down a little bit. Create some energy, some flow. All right, you can pause, just hold your hands together. You might even feel the energy between your hands. You might feel nothing, and that's okay. And in just a second, you're going to take your hand to the top of your head, and you can either, you're going to hover. You're not going to quite put it on your head. You're just going to put it a few inches above your head. And then you're going to go down the front of your body. So you'll go from the top of your head down through your face, your neck, your chest, your midsection, your belly, your lower belly, your pelvic area. So take your hand now, place it above your head. And as you're going to do this slow. And as you go through this process, you want to notice if anything feels different in your hand when you hit a section of your body. So as you take your hand down from the top of your head, just notice if your hand feels warm, if it feels tingly, if there feels like a magnetic pull, or maybe there's just another feeling of tightness, constriction. And wherever you feel it, just lay your hand on that part of your body and you can keep it there. And if you feel nothing, just place your hands where you feel called to put on your body. And as you take a breath in and you allow yourself to connect with this part of your body, what does it tell you? Okay, take a moment, just write down the part of the body and what it told you. Yeah, so what part, what did it say? What did it say? What did it tell you? They were disconnected. Okay, so there you have insight. They feel disconnected, your heart and your crown. We will be probably another 15 minutes. I did go over a little over. We're only supposed to be an hour, but I have probably about another 15 minutes with you. Head, let go. Awesome. I felt my heart and it just said love, 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 love. Aches in my hips and movement is necessary. Do you see how you all intuitively felt into yourself? So the job is to start to tune in, and then the next step is to release, which is what we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to be releasing. Okay, stress and hips is beautiful. So now that was the energetics of your body communicating with you. So now I'm going to share some emotional and mental awareness around the chakras, and then you can see if there's another chakra that speaks to you. Okay, so if you, and as I do it, I'll go through it. So we'll start at the base. The base chakra is your pelvic area. So if your pelvic area, your legs, your knees, your feet, your shins, any part of that physical body hurts, this chakra is out of alignment. When your pelvic area is called the root chakra, when it's in alignment, you feel centered, you feel strong, you feel solid, you feel stable, you feel certain. When it's out of the balance, you can feel all over the place. You can feel stuck, like you can't move your feet. You don't know where you're going. You can feel like lack of security, lack of stability in your life. And so those are ways to tell if the root chakra is out of balance. So if any of that resonated with you, write down root chakra for yourself. Hurt around your knees. So that is your root chakra. Yes. So the next one is your sacral chakra. This is just below your belly button. Now, what I'm sharing with you is very basic, right? There's many layers to each chakra. I'm just giving you a basic overview for you to start to tune in. If you didn't feel any sensation, that is an indication that you're blocked from your feelings. And so this is where we get to use some emotional awareness. This is where you get to tune in through what I'm saying, right? So when I started this process, I was so numb that I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel tingle. I didn't feel nothing, like nothing. So it doesn't mean anything. Like it doesn't have to mean like, oh my God, there's something big and wrong with you. It's just you have detached from your sensation of feeling. And so we're going to start using some other sensations to get you back into your body. So the next one is the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is just below your belly button. Now I call this our emotional center, our feminine center. So when this is balanced, we feel creative, we feel flowy, we feel fun and excited. And when it's out of balance, we could be overwhelmed, like our emotions are like an emotional roller coaster, up and down, or just way down, or just way up. You could cry 1 minute, laugh the next minute. You could also have no feelings, like just tuned out. You don't even know what you're feeling. You don't know what you like to have fun. You don't know your desires and things like that. Think of the sacral as your pleasure. Like pleasure, things that bring you joy and fun. So if there's a lack there, that means this chakra, the sacral, is out of balance. If you feel bored, or if you feel lack creativity, lack flow in your life, meaning if you're doing something and it doesn't go the way you have it planned out, you get thrown up into a tizzy or a spiral, and you're like, that means this chakra is blocked, right? Or someone tells you something and you have no emotional reaction to it. Like someone passes away that's important to you, and you're like, okay, then you can tell that this is blocked. So for your root chakra, I forgot to give you the exercise. For your root chakra, so drop down sacral. I'm going to give you the exercises at the end. Drop down sacral, either in the chat or on your paper, if sacral feels out for you. Okay. The next one is your solar plexus. That's just below your belly button. And when your solar plexus is balanced, you feel inspired, you feel powerful. Think of this as your inner compass, your passion, your inspiration. If it's out of balance, there's a lot of fear energy. There's a lot of self-doubt or egotistical. Like I used to have to always be right. I used to always have to be right. Anybody be like that? I'll answer that in a second, Belinda. And if I was, I had to prove my point. No one knew like I knew. That is a solar plexus out of alignment. That is your ego running the show. So yes, all of your chakras can be out of whack. I will tell you it's usually caused by one or two that are really out of whack, because when one gets out of whack, it affects the other one, the one below it and the one above it. So then it can then have a ripple effect. So when we get to the end, we're just going to notice which one feels the most. Okay. And that's the one you're going to work with. So, My back and knee. So knee is root chakra, back, depending on what part of your back, is a different chakra. If it's lower back, it's sacral. Mid back is solar plexus, upper back is heart. So your solar plexus, when out of balance, you could feel lack of self-confidence, lack of self-esteem, or overly confident and overly egotistical. And there could be a lot of fear, self-doubt, a lot of fear, a lot of questioning. Questioning is also in the crown. So notice if your solar plexus is out of alignment. Then you have your heart chakra. Your heart chakra is where we trust. Oh, you know what? Solar plexus also contains a lot of anger. So if you have a lot of anger, it's solar plexus. Heart is all about trusting. It's about being able to trust yourself, being able to trust others. It's also about giving and receiving, about the ability to give and the ability to receive. I had a client once, a woman I worked with. She came into my office. This is when I had an office at the time. It's before COVID. And she came into my office and I loved her purse. I can't even tell you what it looked like right now, but I just remember the story. She came in. I was like, oh, I love your purse. She completely ignored my comment. I thought maybe she didn't hear it. Like she didn't say, oh, I got it here, or thank you, or anything. Right. So she sat down and I said, oh, I love your purse. And then she continued on her story. And then I said it again. I said, oh my gosh, I love your purse. Where her heart was so blocked, she couldn't even hear the compliment. She couldn't receive it. She couldn't, not only could she not receive it, she couldn't even hear it. Right. So the heart is a two-way street. Everybody take a deep breath in. And now when you blow out, act like that's giving. Keep giving. Don't stop giving. Don't stop giving. Don't stop giving. Don't stop giving. Stop giving. Eventually, you're going to run out of air. Take a breath. Eventually, you're going to run out of air, right? So if you don't stop and pause and give to yourself or receive from others, there's not going to be a lot left to give. Your body will actually start to shut down. So it's important to give to yourself. So you have the heart chakra. A lot of the heart is covered with, I'll say hurt, like things that have hurt you. Solar plexus is judgment, like if you hold on to a lot of judgment, but this is like if you don't want to forgive. The heart chakra is all about forgiving and letting go and healing. Right. So if you have a hard time forgiving, this chakra is the one you want to speak to. Then you have the throat chakra. The throat chakra is about communicating, about self-expression, being able to speak up, speak your truth, set boundaries, declare. I remember I went to a restaurant, and I've shared this story before, but I went to a restaurant and I asked for a salad with no cheese. And I don't do dairy, and I got the salad and the cheese was on it. It was feta. So I was just pushing it off the side. And my coach and my mentor, she said, you could just ask for what you want. I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that. But that's like settling. I was settling for a salad that I didn't ask for. So where do you settle? Where don't you speak up for what you want? Where do you not, it's I just remember years ago, my husband saying, what do you want for dinner? And he's like, I want Chinese. I was like, okay, we'll get Chinese, but I really want a pizza. I really wanted pizza that night. And he's like, we'll order Chinese. I'm like, okay, we'll get Chinese. And then when he went to order, and I was like, you know what? You get Chinese. I'm going to order pizza. I had to speak up. I had to declare what I wanted. So look at, where don't you speak up? Where do you hold back? Where do you settle? Where do you say yes when you want to say no? Where do you say no when you want to say yes? I had my son he's 15 and he has a friend who's 17 and she drives, and she drove him to get ice cream, and they went to the bowling alley, and they went to 3 other places. And so I decided I wanted to give her $10 in gas money. So I gave her $10, and she's like, I can't take this. I don't feel good about taking your money. I'm like, you didn't. You drove my son all around. Like, that saved me money. This is the money spent. So she literally had heart, right? Like, she didn't want to receive it. And then she didn't want to say yes, right? She didn't want to say yes to herself. So lacking her voice, lacking the ability to take things in. So write down throat chakra if it's your throat. The next is your third eye. Your third eye is all about the ability to see where you want to go, to see infinite possibilities, to visualize your future. And I don't necessarily mean visualize where you close your eyes and you see an image. I mean, just having a sense, maybe it is an image, but a sense of where you want, who you want to be, where do you want to go, your intuition, having these intuitive nudges. So if you feel disconnected, if you feel like lost, not sure who you are, this chakra, not sure who you are too, I find falls into your heart too. So write down third eye if you feel like it's your third eye. If you have eye problems, anything, ears, from your mouth around your ears to your shoulders is throat. From your eyes to the top of your head is third eye, and then the rest of your head is the crown chakra. So the crown chakra is about your direct connection, like where you feel guided, directed, and like receive guidance and just feel very centered in a higher power. So if you feel disconnected, feel depressed, feel like there's a lack of I'll say in connection with your higher self, this is the chakra for you. So based on what you wrote down and based on what you felt, what chakra speaks to you the most? Because that's the one I want you to work on in the next 2 days. That's the one I really want you to tune into. It could be one or two. It doesn't have to just be one. But you don't want to overwhelm yourself. You want to focus somewheres. So if it is the root chakra, your homework is to root yourself. Whether you stand by a tree, whether you practice like placing your feet on the ground and like rubbing them on the floor and really connecting to the floor, whether that's grounding yourself through taking some deep breaths, whether that's just declaring that you're grounding, whether that's wearing red to support your root chakra. The root chakra is about being strength. Eating protein supports your root chakra. So out of everything I shared, I want you to pick one activity for the root chakra, okay, that you're going to commit to for anybody that was root chakra. The next is the sacral. The sacral chakra is the one right below your belly button. This is about tapping into your creativity. So you get to do something creative. You get to let go of what something has to look like or be like, and you get to do something creative. Whether that's change your morning routine, whether that's change your nightly routine, whether that's build something, whether that's coloring something, whether I used to say I'm so not creative, but women are naturally creative beings. We literally have the ability to create children, right? Like we are creative. So tapping into something that is something creative. Okay. If it's your sacral chakra. Your solar plexus, I'm going to give you a stance that you get to do for 3 minutes a day. I highly recommend everybody do this, but if your solar plexus is the one, because this one actually opens up all your chakras, but this has been studied. This stance is called the empowerment stance. This has been studied by Harvard to actually up level your vibration. So you literally stand up, feet like hip width apart. And it's like Superwoman. Your hands on your hips, your shoulders back, and your chin is slightly forward, up. And this literally opens up all your chakras, but it starts from here. The opening starts from here. And just doing this for 3 minutes a day, and it doesn't even have to be 3 consecutive minutes. It could be 30 seconds, whatever, however you want to make up 3 minutes. It has been proven to create empowerment. So that's going to help balance your solar plexus. Okay, next is your heart. Your heart chakra If it is forgiveness, like if there is people, places, and things that you were still holding on to from your past, then go with forgiveness. And there's a beautiful prayer called Ho'oponopono. Anybody in here heard of it and can type it in? Ho'oponopono. Ho'opono. I don't know if I spelled it right. You could, I'm trying to do it fast and I can't think, but if you put that in Google, it will most certainly pop up. But it's a 4-sentence prayer, and it is under the interpretation that we are all connected. We all play a part in our experiences. It's super, super powerful. It has been known to release tension between people without even having a conversation with somebody. Isn't that amazing? Right? So it's a 4-sentence prayer. I'm sorry, please. You can literally Google this, and what I'm telling you, you will find. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And what I would do is write down on a piece of paper the experiences, the people that you want to forgive. Hold that paper in your hand and recite the prayer. Okay? If it's a giving and receiving, you get to start practicing receiving. So I'm going to encourage you to allow someone to open the door for you. Or, ask someone for help. If you're not great at receiving, you get to ask someone for help. That's your exercise, okay? For your throat chakra, if it's your throat chakra, you get to practice a 1-word sentence. No. It needs absolutely no further information justifying it, nothing. When my kids ask me for something and I don't want to do it, you know what they say? No. And they say, why? I say, no. And they say, why? I just say, no. I don't justify my no. I don't have to justify my no. My no is enough. So for your throat chakra, you get to practice no when you really want to say no. And you don't have to justify it. You don't have to say no because blah, 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 blah. Nope. You just get to say no. Or you get to say yes when you really want to say yes. Okay? That's the throat chakra. There's so much more to the throat, but that's very simple to get started with. Then you have the third eye. For the third eye, there's 2 exercises I would recommend. One is creating a list of affirmations, declaring who you get to be or who you want to be or what it is that you want in your life. The other thing I would do is sit in visualization or create a visual. You know what else is really powerful that I don't think people associate with the third eye is speaking as if something already existed that hasn't existed yet in your life. Right? You're stepping into that vision of what you want. So if you don't know what you want and you don't know your vision, you get to start with just some affirmations. Become aware of what you're saying to yourself and then create some positive affirmations instead. Okay? The last one is the crown. If your crown chakra is blocked, the #1 thing is to detox it. And the great way to do that is meditation. So finding a meditation practice that works for you. So you get to drop in the chat what you are going to commit to doing for yourself. I just want 1. You may do others, but I want you just to commit to 1 here. And then I'm going to give you your homework. Grounding, meditate. Awesome. Meditate, grounding. No? You're not going to, you're going to say no. I was like, you're not going to do anything, Jackie? I get it. Heart, okay. Do something creative, the stance, affirmations. Beautiful. Love it. Beautiful. So what you get to do is you get to do this exercise and either take a video or a picture of what you're doing and place it in our Facebook group. And you will be entered in to win a prize, which is the prizes that I'm going to give away are my manifestation journal. It's a workbook. It's about 20 some pages. I'm going to give away my manifestation course, self-study course, which is valued at $300. I'm also going to give you a $500 discount on the Fear to Freedom program if you move forward. I will be giving that away. And so the way to get the prizes is you participate in the Facebook group. So add something in there. Be fun, be creative. I want you to think of this as your community. You guys are here together for 4 days. A lot can happen in 4 days if you actively participate. So that is your homework. Tomorrow, we are going to dive into the sacral. We're really going to dive into emotions and embodiment. It's so important to understand the power of emotions and energy and how to release it, shift it, and move it through to redirect that energy into what you want to create instead of having it tied up on all the stuff you don't want. I call it my breakthrough day. It's a huge, powerful day. I invite you to come from start to finish. Because if you leave in the middle of the process, you might leave in a crappy energy, and I don't want you to do that because you'll be in the middle of the breakthrough. Okay, so come start to finish. The replay will be up in the Facebook group at 7:30 tonight. So if you want to go back and rewatch it, the replay will be up there. Like I said, it will just be me. You guys won't be in it. I invite you, if you haven't, there is a VIP package that's available. It's only $27. And what that gives you is right now when this ends, we have a 30-minute session together where you get to ask me questions and really sit and get guidance. It's all about you, whatever you need as a group. And then you get access to my healing bundle, I believe. But you also get a live healing on Sunday. So Sunday we'll do a live transformative neuro healing, and you get to come to that and go through that whole healing process. So it's a great deal for $27. How do you get that? That's a good question. Go register again, and it will come up on the thank you page. That's the only way I know how to tell you to get it, because I don't know. But if you want that and you don't purchase it, feel free to stay on. But right now, that concludes our session for today. Come back tomorrow for your breakthrough day. Go. Your homework is to post whatever you committed to, a picture or a video of you doing that activity. So if you're writing IMs, you take a picture of your IMs you wrote out, right? If you're meditating, you take a picture of you meditating and you put that on there. If you're doing your empowerment stance, you take a picture of your empowerment stance and you put that on there. Make sense? All right, do your homework, go win some prizes. I'll see everybody later. If you want to be a VIP and you are a VIP, feel free to stay on.